Muy buenas noches. Yo
Good
me llamo
evening. My name is Adriana Marroquin, and I'm the
Santa Barbara. El evento de esta noche se llevará a
administrator for
cabo para
Hospice of
todos
Santa Barbara, and
aquellos
this
que
event
están
will take
escuchando
place in
y pueden
Spanish
hablar inglés.
with
Si desea
simultaneous
escuchar
interpretation
otro
in
evento
English.
de
If you
esta
want to
noche,
listen this in English,
está titulado Interpretación en la
select
parte de abajo de su pantalla
the
y
part that
decide
says
cuál va a ser esa versión,
interpretation
ya sea
and
inglés
choose the
o
language you
español.
want to hear,
Good evening.
English or
My name is
Spanish.
Adriana Marroquin, and I am the Community Initiatives Manager for Hospice of Santa Barbara. Tonight's event will be held in Spanish and translated into English. Ahora sí, bienvenidos. Me
Welcome.
entusiasma mucho
I'm very enthusiastic to be in this event that is part of this series, and it has been seen by thousands of people in our local community as well as around the world. But today's event is very special because it's our first event completely in Spanish with interpretation in English. Today's event will focus in the local community, and we hope to create an opportunity to explore the feelings, the questions, and all the challenges with this new reality as we continue adapting to life after, well, during the pandemic, because it hasn't stopped, it hasn't changed. Before starting, I would like to thank with all my heart all of you who's with us tonight. Thank you for letting us in your house, and I would also like to acknowledge our partners who have been supported us since the beginning, and we include Natalie Foundation, Ridley Tree Cancer Center Santa Barbara Foundation. Thank you very much for sharing our vision. Okay, now the main dish. Some months ago, we had a very similar event to tonight where we invited the community leaders to talk about their experiences when they adapt to life during the pandemic. During this event, people were able to participate, ask some questions, and we were pleased to see that a lot of people were having similar experiences. And not because I'm a mean person, but it gives us a feeling of unity, that we're all going through the same and it looked the same among us. And that gave us the idea to have a similar idea, an event in our community. Are these experiences similar? That's what we're going to find out today. And for that, we have a luxury panel. I'm very excited. And when we think about these panelists, we wanted to invite a very dear friend who has provided information to the community, to our friends, Latin community, and he makes sure it's efficient, real, and on time. Jose Fierros has a history of more of 30 years of experience in the radio, and that's his passion to collaborate and to help his community. This has given him a lot of recognition, acknowledgement in the Mariachi Festival, Central Coast League, and recently Hospice of Santa Barbara as a community leader. In the present, he has 5 radio stations. I don't know how you do it. Besides that, you're a dad. How do you do it? Good evening. Thank you. With a lot of sacrifices, a lot of work, support from the family, and trust from the company who gives me the opportunity and the trust to work. I'm very happy. I feel old with these 30 years. Probably I'm already old. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you, Jose, for being here with us. When we think of this event, you were one of the main parts because I think you have an insight that is unique, being the only radio stations for people who speak Spanish. And I think it goes from Santa Maria to Ventura, is that right? Yeah. It goes from the north and south of the county. So yeah, that's a privilege. I am privileged to work in this community. I'm not the most intelligent, the most prepared, but I've been lucky and I've had the support of a lot of people who have allowed me to be here and who trust me, and I thank all of them. You're excellent. With this, to start the event, You've been in front of the news, sharing to the communities the needs they share at the beginning of the pandemic and the needs that you listen to these days. Are they the same or have they changed? No, I think they have changed as we have been moving on. And I thank you for you highlighting in the information that we have taken to our people. I thank you who are in this panel and other people and agencies and community leaders who have helped me to do this. We're just the voice, the mean to get to these people who are listening every day. And when the pandemic surged, the first weeks there was a lot of questions, a lot of leaders, groups, and we had the idea to have a program every day to bring all the information. There was a lot of confusion, anxiety, misunderstanding in our community, in networks and platforms. And I told this to Brianna and she accepted, and all the group welcomed us very good with their resources that they had available for the community. So yeah, Liliana, it's going to be 2 years already since the pandemic started. It's almost impossible. That's correct. We're going to introduce you in a little bit. It has changed. It has been like a mixture of feelings as this pandemic goes by. At the beginning was the closure of schools, of businesses, working from home, the ones who could, and others who had to go to work in the middle of all this pandemic, risking being infected or getting sick. Then the having to wear mouth cover, the long distance, and then the scars of some products like toilet paper. So as this moves on and time goes by and we know more about the virus, our mood starts changing to hopeful, to worrying about not being able to see our relatives, especially the elderly, because we don't want to get them sick. So we have a really big hope that this is going to finish. But when I see this theme navigating our new reality, I feel a little bit of anxiety because this is our new reality. That's true, but I don't feel it like something normal. It stresses me, it worries me that this is our new reality or the new normal. That's true, Jose. And I think you're talking about what we're all going through the same thing, I guess. So we have a luxury panel, and I leave this on your hands so you can continue. I'm leaving for a little bit, I'll be back. But thank you again, Mr. Jose, for accepting this invitation to moderate this panel. Thank you to Hospice of Santa Barbara, Mi Vida, Mi Voz. Thank you to all the team that made this possible because they've made a huge effort. So the most possible people could be present today. They have announced it in TV, on radio. So thank you for that effort, and hopefully you like it. And Adriana said, if you have a question, you can use the Q&A feature or the chat. And you who's with us today, in one word, please describe what you're feeling at present. Seeing how you feel at the house, I'm sure every person will have more than one word to describe what they feel, but hopefully you can give us in one word through the chat what you feel. So we're going to start. I want to welcome Silvia Uribe. I want to let her introduce herself. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know you very well since I had the program in the radio many years ago. Thank you very much. Tell us a little bit about you so people knows more about you. You founded Transil Pro, which is a translation and interpretation agency. Yes, it's a pleasure to see you and all my panelists. Thank you to the people who are participating and who organized this for having us here. It's a pleasure and a privilege. Yeah, and like you say, you and I know each other since musical. Mm, I had my first radio program at Lister, which was many years ago, and I'm going to say exactly how many, but a lot. And as you know, I'm telling my friends who do not know me, I felt I've had TV programs, different things. I have participated in Univision. But the most important for me that I've done throughout all these years is that I've been in contact with my community one way or another through my business. I'm an advocate, a language advocate. So I like a lot to participate in things that even if I'm not the interpreter, my company has nothing to do with it to offer it. So I really thank you to Hospice and all my friends to make this huge effort. It's a commitment. It's a big commitment, and I'm really thankful for that. So I'm everywhere. I find people if I go to the store, here, there, and that's what really fulfills me and I like. And people say hi to me very happy. So I cannot ask for more, really. Thank you for being here. Now I'm going to say hi to Ali Cortez, better known with a lot of affection as Ali Cortez, who is the founder of the Latin. And thank you for being here today of Bienestar Latin. Thank you, Jose, for that voice who has always guided us before the pandemic, during, and still today. And with all of you, nice people who is with us today at their house. Like Jose says, my objective is always to advocate for our community, mental health. I'm always working clinic in mental health for the youth and families. So if you need help, resources, my objective is bring those resources and make that connection from their heart that you can feel, see, listen, that you can trust that person to use the resources you need. And there's a lot of resources in this community. We are like the resources Disneyland in Santa Barbara. So it's our resources, and we need to know who, with, where, and make it easier to feel comfortable saying, I want, I need, that's my resource. So nice people, we're here for you. Thank you. Thank you, Ali. Now I want to say hi, very pleased to my partner, my accomplice in some way, and she's also my backup. She's the expert. I also open the microphone so Liliana can bring all the recommendations on health, give us information. And even before the pandemic, we were already working with the programs, the trainings that you have. But now, as the boys from the fire department and the coordinator of public education of the city fire department and Listos National Program Director, thank you. I don't have to introduce myself. Thank you, my accomplice, Jose. Very happy to be here with you. Ali, Silvia, there are really great ladies in our community, and this is an honor to be in this panel. And I feel like I'm with my family because we all work with the same objective to bring that information to our community. So we consider each other with family, and we're really happy to see each other to bring this to your houses. So thank you again. And like Jose says, I work for the fire department of Santa Barbara in the emergency services. I have worked in this area many years. I work in information to the public, education, training about emergencies. And I'm also the National Program Director for Listos, which is for disasters, individual and family. And it started in Santa Barbara too, but now we're national level and international, even taking it to other countries. A program who was born of the need to bring this information to our families, Latin families or Spanish speaking families, and translate it to English and other 11 languages. So I feel very proud. And I hope that the information I'm bringing to you with my accomplice, it's helpful and that you enjoy it. I remember again the people who is here with us with that have hope. One person says anxiety, hopeful. We probably all feel those mixed emotions, maybe in different days or all at the same day. But Sylvia, what is it that you hear in your environment, the people you work with, the people you've run into in the street? What your question? I've heard a little bit of everything, and I heard it in the order you said. There was a lot of surprise at the beginning, a lot of denial. Oh no, this is not true. This will go by fast. There was a lot of fear when we started realizing, then hope, then we went back again because I see a lot of people every day and I hear all those things. Then some of us started to accept this. And after that, the hope that everything will be better, that everything will be fine. And I understand all those feelings because I think that everybody in the community, we went through all those feelings, but every day. It's not by phases, but every day. Suddenly they give us some information that crashes with another one that we just heard. It surprises us, it confuses us. I felt that and I feel it every day, but at the same time, I know that if these things stay or come here to stay, and I think it's a possibility with the medications we have and the precautions we're taking, that's going to be the best. And I think a lot of people are moving towards that. That's what I'm hearing too. People say, well, what I'm doing is I'm continuing wearing my mask. And until I don't hear the virus is not around, I won't stop using it. I wash my hands a lot and I don't shake hands with anyone. You know that we hug each other and we shake hands, a lot of contact, but I'm limiting that contact, and that's the way I feel comfortable. And each of us are finding a way, and that's what I'm hearing a little by little from the community. I apologize, I disconnected. I'm back, and I was able to hear most of what you said. It's curious. The events, because of work, I also have to wear mask, even if they don't wear it in my environment. A lot of people ask me, you still taking care of yourself? And I think to myself, yes, I'm taking care of myself because at the same time, I'm taking care of you. And I can have the virus even though if I'm vaccinated. Liliana, thank you. What is it that you hear in your environment and a lot of people call you and they tell you of the events? You're in the community a lot. What do they tell you? Ooh, they told me about everything and then I gave them my cell phone. Ooh, they took advantage. No, it's not true. I'm here and I love it when they hear something that they don't feel very safe. They ask me right away. And I like that because what I've tried to transmit, to convey throughout these years, that that's what we're here for as public servants, to answer those questions, to be here for you. So some things that they ask me is, for example, when is this going to end? It's something they always ask me. When do you think, because they call me the firewoman, even though I'm not a firewoman, when do you think this is going to end? And I tell them, well, I don't know. But as well as you, I want this to end too. And we all have to put some of our efforts. Sometimes they question the decisions that public health makes, like to prove that you're vaccinated, like to get the booster or the third doses, and they question this. Unlike human beings, I think it's normal to question. And what I try to assure them is that these decisions are made because they're based on science. And I've always told them that as long as they're based on science, politics, feelings, ideas go to one side. And I try to provide them the information and they can make their own decisions as, I mean, individually. And when the community starts getting informed, those are the questions that search. If there's changes at school, they're going to ask me about that. If it's changes about work, they ask me about that. And I try to keep well informed and give them resources where they can get information with true resources, not what the cousin from the neighbor told me, and then I'm going to give that information. No, we have to be well informed. And I think it's that confusion, what brings all these mosaic feelings, mixed feelings that our life was changed drastically. And we question everything like, why, how, what's going to happen? But we're here to answer the best way possible. Thank you, Liliana. I'm reading in the chat as well as you. Sylvie, Liliana, Ali, you are a gift for our community, and I believe that too, so thank you. What do you hear in your environment? You're always advocating for our people, and also from mental health, wellness, and psychological point of view. Thank you for the gift you're giving me, Ko, because that's the gift I want to get back. The light you give us, we give it back to you and it regenerates. That's what we need. What I'm seeing, it's a collective life where we all saw something, where we all feel something. We're feeling like you say, it's a mosaic feelings, experiences, and that causes a lot of things. It causes anxiety, depression, the switch in our brain to be surviving. So what happens? We're looking for ways to survive, like Liliana says, and what Sylvia does. It's so important of the resources to take care of that depression, anxiety. How am I going to survive to go back to a point where I say, I'm fine, I'm going to be fine. So besides being in an increase in anxiety, depression, suicide ideation, mental health problems, abuse on substances, we're also seeing the collective healing. We're dismantling the stigmas in our society. Before they would say, that's for crazy people. I don't need that. Now we support each other and we say, friend, I'm here. What is it that you need? Empathy. Go back to our humanity that we need it because we're a lot working day to day, this pandemic hit, and it started breaking systems that cannot be sustained or they cannot sustain what we need nowadays. And what I see is beautiful, and I'm always very positive. It's a call to justice, not only in the scholar justice, in the community, in general. We saw anxiety and depression in general, but we're also seeing that justice for everybody. So our voices, we're getting it together more united. Our complaints, they're not complaints. Those are the things we deserve and we're asking for them. And we're telling people this is what we need. And the programs and everything we have to reimagine them. It's a time to be more creative, more open to how we're going to rebuild what's breaking. And we're going to rebuild it so it's center and for the community. So this mosaic of experiences and our history, because what we're doing right now, the youth are looking at us Like you say, advocate for youth a lot. And the best gift we can give to the next generation is our health. And they're seeing it because we have these cells in our brains and they're always analyzing where do I feel safe? Because that's where I will survive. So if you take care of yourself, taking care of your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health, that's going to be an impact in the community. It's a collective impact. I always, I also know that with all this, you get chronic stress, which causes physical problems and chronic problems. So I want to talk to the doctors, all our medical systems to invent a little more holistic medicine. Because what was fear of what could have happened, it happened to some of us. So we don't live, we have a trauma that gets recorded on your body and the body never lies. It's going to manifest itself and we have chronic problems. So we have to be prepared for that. And we already are because it's inside of us. That's why I started saying to regenerate that energy, that spirit. And if you can continue giving them our song, our flower, we're here at this point. How do we look forward? What do we have to do from now on? I don't know if the pandemic will end or it will not end. Or maybe this phase stops and then other complications or variants come. What do we do from here on? I think if we have learned anything from all this, well, it's many things. And what Ali was saying made me think, for example, that the community in general realized of the lack of medical services in our community, in the community of color. We don't have a lot of people here of color in this community, but the Latin and that was very obvious with the pandemic. So I hope that this kind of conversation goes to other levels so they can take the measures that are needed to stop that from occurring because it's painful to see that the members from one community are the ones who having the most impact. It would have to be more equal for everybody to have those medical resources. That's what I predict. I think this virus will continue. I don't know if it's a pandemic or not. I think the virus is going to start decreasing with the medications we have. And besides, we're going to develop more antibodies. But while we get there, I think that we can understand each other. We're in a moment where a lot of people are angry, a lot that already got the vaccine with a lot of people who didn't get the vaccine. Let's say things like they are. But I would like to get, I already got the vaccine and it's very difficult for me to understand when someone tells me, no, what if this happens or that? But if we try to understand, okay, I'm worried for my sister, my uncle, my cousin, whoever, that they think the other way, that it's risky to get the vaccine. But that person is also worried for me because I already got the vaccine. So we need to understand that what's getting us, affecting us or getting us together is the effect and the worry for each other. So I think we have to begin from there, not to be the bad one, the one who doesn't think like me, and try to understand that person. We're not going to convince them, probably, like they're not going to convince us, but at least we're going to have harmony. When we live without harmony, ourselves, we cannot be doing good. And we need a little bit of that to understand each other. The other thing is that the work conditions are going to change a lot. Well, they have changed. I don't think they're going back to where they were. We already realized we can work in long distance. When I was working up to 2 years ago, I would say, no, no, you have to be here at the office. If someone asks permission to work at distance, it was a drama. Now it's normal. The way we think about it, about this, is changing because of the virus. And that's good because, like you say, maybe another viruses will come or variants. We're learning to adapt because what's constant, it's change. So if we start there, I think we have gained a lot like a community, and I'm very optimistic. So I always try to think in a positive way, which it helps me a lot, let me tell you. Because I tell myself, why am I going to think this is terrible? This is not going to turn out good. This is not going to end good. There's no use. So let's put that energy, that positive energy outside, and maybe someone can use it. Yeah, we need positive people like you, but we also need to bring out our positive side. We have to motivate ourselves. If not, we get the depressed. Get depressed, and who knows what could happen. I want to invite the three of you, if you have something to comment on what the other one is saying, or you want to compliment, do it please, because all the three of you say you're very interesting. So maybe you could have another thing to say. Liliana, Silvia was talking about the division that exists and how to try to live. I think nowadays we have no option but try to live with the neighbor who thinks differently. That's right. Before anything, tolerance and patience. I think those two words are a challenge in these times. And remember, like the Principito said, patience is not the uh, being able to wait, but the attitude that you have while you wait. And that's a challenge for some of us who we're carrying something that a burden that is not ours. And sometimes you want to carry everybody's burden. And like Sylvia says, we as Latins, we function in groups. If we want to change the way they think, we want to put our ideas on them. And sometimes it's not fair. We have to be patient, to be tolerant, provide information, and each head is a world. So that's what we can do. And believe me, when I talk about this burden of or everybody else's burden who has been listening to us for 2 years, I'm pro vaccine, I'm vaccinated, I'm a relative. And for me, it is very difficult. And I struggle to have these conversations, but I am very honest. And when I talk to someone, I tell them, obviously, I want to be pro this, but I understand the way you think, and that doesn't mean that we need to have those differences. Like Dr. Anson says a lot, it's not a matter of convincing someone else, but to help them to find the reason. And that's something that me, as a public servant, has taken it very seriously. And that's what I do, provide information, and people can do with that information and take the decision they like. I'm doing my work to be fair and equal with the information I provide. And when Sylvia talked about the disparity of demographic, that shouldn't happen in any situation. We all should have the same access. And I want to continue doing that, and people will decide. I'm never going to get into a discussion unless they provoke me. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to get into a discussion because I try to practice what the Principito book taught me, to be patient, to wait. I learn from other people as I hope those people learn from me too. If you allow me really fast, I don't know if like my mom used to say because of love or because you have to. I don't know if it's going to be more the ones who got the vaccine than the ones who didn't, but at this moment, I do hope that we have the maturity and the capacity to say, I told you so, because that won't take us anywhere just to make that person feel bad. And what's the objective? We're not gaining anything. So I think that if someone changes their mind, let's celebrate it or not. But it's good that they changed their opinion. Now it's on our side. But I think we need to be mature enough to not bully or make fun of these people, because sometimes this is what we Latins stop us to do what we wanted to do. Or they're going to make fun of me. Things of that kind. So let's be mature, because who knows what's coming later. Ali, I don't know if you want to add something to Liliana's and Silvia's comment, or we continue? Because you mentioned very important topics like health, physical, mental, and spiritual. Yeah, and that's what I could add about where we're talking about patient compassion and empathy. When we use empathy is when we make inclusion bigger. So everybody's included in all the conversations. Because I've been to a lot of places where there's a lot of anger. It's you can feel the tension and everything is connected. Our earth has tension spiritually in the community. So what empathy does is that you have no tolerance for people, is that you realize what's really happening. We only present certain things for the same reason that Sylvia said. If I remember anything, it's like, who do you think you are? Who are you? And then I tell that to myself. Have those same thoughts and judgments. So empathy frees you. It gives you more. It's abundant. So when you give empathy, people change. Because sometimes we want to change people and we can't. So when give them that opportunity to say what's really happening, you find solutions that are more creative. When we're not creative, our system becomes violent. But when we're in a creative status, there's more accessibility, and to be this is to be in this moment. When we're in the past, we get depressed. Oh, this happened. Yeah, it did happen and it hurts. And when we're in the future, anxiety, what's going to happen? And we can stay there for a long time, especially in these last 2 years. The objective right now is to go back to the present, to this moment, because that's where all the resources are. That's where you can respond and not react to the situation. And it feels so good. And I love the word Silvia used, mature. I responded like a mature person. But there's times that you feel like saying, let me remove my earrings and we'll deal with it. But we have to live in the moment, the empathy towards us, and that goes out to the other. So there's an emotion, a response, and a reaction. So it doesn't impact our nervous system so much, we can rebalance it. I was seeing a comment through the chat, and it says, our interior peace. It is important to be good with ourselves, to be able to be good in our environment. Something I would like to add from some of the questions they make me, just before getting here, I received a message from the community. And this person was telling me, okay, I already got the vaccine. That's how I saw it, like, now what? So I said, okay, I want to use this example. Let's be realistic with our expectations. And now that Ali mentioned that, it's algo that we have, it's something that we have to do. Maybe some of us got really excited when the vaccine came out, like, oh yeah, we're going to be able to go out. We were all so excited. We were so happy. And we were waiting and waiting for it to end. Let's be realistic. What to expect? Like my partners have mentioned, we don't know what's going to happen. We have to be each day and to do the best with what we have. That it's under our control. We cannot control what other people do. We cannot feel what other people feels. We're our own owners. So let's do the best I can do to be able to be the best for someone else. And I wanted to add that because every time Ali talks, I want like to take notes and record her to listen to her every day. I should record her.
Yo también.
I want to start quoting Ali's words. But let's be realistic with our expectations, sorry, and say this, the vaccine is not the end, and going back to a normal situation is not the one we thought it was going to be. This switch our world in a way we never thought of it. Let's be realistic. We have to learn to live with this new reality and navigate, like it says our theme, how we're going to go with the flow, going through this storm. And thank you, Ali. Thank you, Liliana. Silvia, you used to mention that our sector was the most affected by this pandemic. But we live in a capital system. We're a very hardworking community with maybe the less resources. How do we get out of that? What do we do? Oh, that's a $60 million question, because that's what we all want, what we all fight for. And yesterday, actually, I was talking to some people with a lady and her daughter, and she was telling me, I want for my daughter everything I didn't have. And what I told these ladies, it's true. And you can achieve that only by educating more our kids for them to go to school so they can make more money in the future. There's a lot of times that I feel that in our communities, like you say, we're the communities that have more needs. We mentioned a little bit with the children so they can make money and help the family and the family can move on. But that's what stops us sometimes too. Because right now maybe they're making the minimum wage and it's going to stay like that in a long time. But if they study a little bit more and we push them as parents, even if we eat only rice and beans, then they're going to be able to make more money. And it's how the next generations will succeed. The other thing that I always say that we could do to solve these problems is there's programs. Like Ali has mentioned, there's a lot of programs that have been helping with the rent, for example, with the utilities, with different things. It's a process. It's not immediately. It's not like you call and they give you the money right away. It's a process, but that helps a lot of people. I volunteered to do the screening of some of the people who were calling to see if they could get this help or not. That's another very important thing, that those resources to be used, because sometimes they're like, I don't speak English. Those resources have people who speak Spanish. Oh, I'm embarrassed. What if they ask me for some documents? All the information we have in our minds that a lot of times shouldn't stop us as much. We have to use those resources. because there can be million of resources, but if we don't use them, there's no use. So that's another thing that could help us. And the third is to teach our children to be positive. Instead of saying the kid when he doesn't do the homework right, oh, you're dumb. How come you didn't learn how to do it correctly? Why weren't you paying attention in class? Instead of saying that, we can tell him, you can do it. The only thing you have to do is focus, let's do it, or tell the teacher, or me as a mom, I want to tell the teacher my son is not understanding, is there tutoring, but not demean, not be demeaning. Right now, for us, we are where we are, and we can get out of that with a lot of effort. But I think we have to focus on our children to better every year. Every step we take is going to be higher. That's what I think. Elena, you told me there's two questions and I cannot see them. You can help me answer if you have an answer, please. Yeah, remember I'm your accomplice. Sandra is asking, how do you explain to a young person that mental health is not something they should be embarrassed or ashamed of? And I think I want to let Ali answer that because she's the expertise in this topic. Thank you, powerful woman. And thank you for the question. Very good question, because we're in that space to dismantle this stigma. So we have focused and we have learned a lot of our physical health. When you have a cold, you have to take care of yourself so it doesn't develop. You have to go to the doctor. You have to take your chicken noodle soup, your Vaporub. Let's transfer that to the mental health, that when you feel something, it's real, it's a symptom. Your body has all these alarms, like a car. The light that goes on, like, oh, it's telling you you need to fix something. We have these intelligent systems that are telling you we need a little bit more, we need more tools. So if we deal with that in that way, like we deal with a cold, and we deal that way with mental health, we have to give the empathy so we can reach a solution faster. But if we let it continue, and we have all done it. I'm not sick, I'm doing good, I'm going to work, I'm going to continue. And all of a sudden, boom, you have a bigger or worse disease. That's what prevention. So when someone says, I don't feel good, okay, let's go see someone, let's go see a professional. Let's look for a service that can help you with that. It's a way of them understanding. Sometimes when we talk about trauma, those symptoms are a little bit stronger, or an impact for a series of events or something that happened. It's as if you have a blister. But we have to take care of it because it bothers. Even if you cure it, you have to go with a professional. It's going to help you heal this pain, make sure it doesn't get infected. You have time to answer to the other one. I'm looking at the clock. We barely started. It's almost time to leave, to start wrapping up. Time flies when you're having a good time. The other question is, according to each of you, which was the best thing that changed or surged because of the pandemic? I think that empathy, as Ali mentioned, and something that changed. And I think long term is going to be good, is that we realize the injustices that exist in our community and our system. That's when we realize that access is not accessible. Access to information, to resources, it's not there for everybody. And I think that's changed to a positive way for our community. And I'm talking specifically about the Latin community because that's when I saw that change. And I don't know if any of you want to add something. I agree with you. That was the awards surrounded by pain, but that's when all the community realized those differences or injustices. But I think all of you have become more flexible, and that will always help us to adapt to different things with our family, everybody. That's mine. Ali, the balance. We have to be happy. We have to be happy. We want the balance, justice. To finish, Sylvia, what would you tell the people who's here with us today? What message would you leave them with? I believe that the message after what I said and after what I listened to my fellows, it's let's be more kind. Kindness is something beautiful. Pick up something that someone threw or fell. Open the door for someone else. A smile. Smile has made my day of someone that I don't know. I don't know where they're going, where they're coming from, but it makes me happy. And kindness. Kindness takes us to satisfaction. When you're kind, you feel a satisfaction that fulfills you. And at the end, kindness can make a big difference. It's free, and we can give some happiness to someone. Kindness. Liliana, what would you tell people? What you recommend? What do you acknowledge your privileges and give because being vaccinated, alive, and healthy, it's a privilege a lot of communities do not have. So use your time giving to others. That's going to make us better, our environment in every way. And we have to be intentional with what we do. We have to be mindful of what we do because everything has a consequence. So I leave everybody with that to be aware of your privileges. Ali, what do you tell people? What do you recommend? What my mom tells me still. Tell me who you're hanging with and I'll let you know who you are. Positive people with Liliana, Silvia, Jose, Brianna, Charles, all our beautiful people today that it's helping us, motivating us. We have to be together.
Entonces, de alguna forma,
Avoid somehow
los negativos,
those who,
sería
the
apropiado.
negative people, would that be appropriate to say? In moderation.
Muchísimas gracias. Híjole, y después,
Thank you. And after having listened to you, I think I would tell you that we need to change the chip. If I feel overwhelmed, Charles was in the other day, go out for a walk. Something as simple as that. Maybe grab a book and read a little bit. Build a shield. I want to read a book.
escuchar música, me voy a
I
ir a
want to listen to music. I want to walk the dog to the beach, to the
cambiar el chip
park.
cuando estamos abrumados. Yo creo que
Change
también,
the chip when we
no sé,
feel
una buena
overwhelmed.
recomendación.
That would be a good recommendation. Thank you, Adriana. Thank you very much to all and each of you. And Alina says, when we're having a good time, time flies. We're going to have a second part to this. But from my heart, Silvia, Ali, and Liliana, thank you for accepting the invitation. Thank you very much. Jose, of course, thank you for being our host. We couldn't have done it without you. No, there's better people than me in the community, but thank you for having me here today.
Si me ayudas a
Chelsea, if you can help me to close, wrap up the event. I really want to thank the IT team. You cannot see them, but we have a team who has been helping us a lot. And lastly, from Hospice of Santa Barbara, we're pleased to be able to offer this series of Illuminate free. We cannot do it without your help, and we ask you to, in a humble way, if you could give a donation. And you can go to the link that is in the chat, and you can also see past recording, both in English and Spanish. If you go to our website, and for the last, we want to invite you to our next event, Illuminating Alive. It's going to be virtual. And we do this every year to remember all the people we have lost. And we hope to see you there on December 15 at 6, and you can find more information in the chat. That's all for today. Thank you for being with us today. Good evening. Thank you.